President of the Republic of the Gambia, coming a third from Saudade Karaba Jawara to former President Yahya Jammeh, and then now President Adama Barrow. But later he came to form the National People's Party, which was eventually been registered here in the Gambia. And today we are witnessing the presentation of nomination papers by the president, who is also the incumbent and leader of the National People's Party momentarily. But earlier, the Vice President of the Republic of the Gambia, Her Excellency Dr. Aissatou Touré, walked into the premises of the election house, and then she was accompanied by other officials, and they must be the 50 people who are only allowed in this building to accompany the president while he tenders his credentials before the IEC chairman. And just like we had said about other previous candidates, they all came with their nomination papers, presented them to the IEC chairman. It started on Saturday, but unlike what has been happening previously, this time around, the documents are just presented, and that is part of the nomination process. And then the IEC will thoroughly look at these documents, and then on Saturday, they will be subjected to public scrutiny, where the public also is allowed to come and verify these documents, have their say as to what they know about these candidates. And then later, the IEC will come to a conclusion as to who is qualified to run for the December 4th presidential elections. And then we're expecting to receive such information on Sunday. But like I said, the Vice President is here with us already. There is a huge jubilation out there. If you're looking at your screens, you can see all grey out there. And then we all know a couple of parties have backed the NPP currently. Just look at your screens, you see a lot of people out there. The NPP currently is supported by the PPP. We also have the GPDP. They form an alliance with the APRC. We have the NRP. Just yesterday, we have the GAP leader pledging allegiance to the NPP, although we have a presidential aspirant for GAP, but its leader has pledged allegiance to the incumbent, and that's the leader of the PPP. The NPP, I beg your pardon, President Adama Barrow. And then just last night over the news, we can see another leader of a party also pledging allegiance to the president, the incumbent, His Excellency Adama Barrow, and his NPP party. And then while we await the arrival of President Barrow, and then hopefully later we'll also be showing pictures as to what is unfolding outside this building. With me on the panel are my colleagues, Yoro Jallo, Tijan Jane, Haji Sumunu, and then Nuha Baji. But before I hand over the mic to my colleagues, with me on the platform also is Mr. Fabu Sane, and then Mr. Sane is the organizing secretary of the National People's Party. He's also part of the entourage that's accompanying the president, His Excellency Adama Barrow, the leader of the NPP, here this morning to present his credentials before the IEC chairman. Good morning, Mr. Sane. Welcome to our panel.
Good morning, and thank you.
You want to have the mic up there so that our viewers and listeners on the radio can hear you loud and clear. We are expecting the president here momentarily, Mr. Sane. Huge jubilation out there, and that signifies a lot of crowd, as we can see on our screens. You are here with the president, or you are here to accompany the president. Tell us what the president is about. What do we expect the president to tell the media this morning? Because he will be having interaction with the media as far as his policies and programs for the Gambia is concerned.
Sorry, I have a very bad. Thank you very much, Grts, and thank you very much all the viewers out there. As the organizing secretary of the NPP and our alliances, I have this privilege to be here today to share information regarding the presentation of our candidate, His Excellency President Adama Barrow, to the IEC today. As you can see from the screens, we have a lot of our party supporters across the country that have converged here today to show support and promise the president that his second term is already assured. We are expecting the president here in a couple of minutes' time. The president doesn't have a lot to say. I think the Gambian people have already seen from his 5-year term what he was able to achieve. as he promised during his 2016 campaign. He is going to continue and do, if possible, to provide the necessary amenities as requested, and of course improve on our education, health, agriculture, and our economy, and every aspect of our needs as far as development is concerned. So this is the general message.
Absolutely. Based on what we've seen on the screens, the huge crowd are there, and then you being the national secretary of the NPP, just confirming to us that you've put in a lot of arrangements, a lot of work in terms of logistics to bring all these people here. And just like all the parties, we are also expecting to see a huge number of people here to accompany the president to present his credentials before the IEC. I'd ask what we're expecting, or when we were expecting the president to say as far as his interface with the press is concerned. You had mentioned that we can all see for ourselves what the president has done during the course of his tenure for the past 5 years in terms of agriculture and then among other sectors. But we also want to know how optimistic the NPP party officials are in terms of the president winning this upcoming elections.
Thank you very much. That's a very broad question, but nonetheless, I'll do my best. First of all, the president would advise the press and the general public that peace is priceless. Gambia has been through a lot during the past 22 years. Since the advent of his governance, his assumption of office 2016, I am sure every Gambian, inside or outside the Gambia, is a living witness to the kind of democracy Gambians are enjoying today. The free rule of law Gambians are enjoying. There is free democracy everywhere. So he is going to advise the journalists as well as Gambians that Gambians' democracy and peace need to be nurtured, and that is a responsibility of every citizen to play a part. And as the leader of the nation, he has been advocating for this, has been advising, and this he would certainly talk about. With regards to what we have done so far as the organizing team for this nomination, yes, for a week or so now, we have been tirelessly running around trying to put everything together to make sure that the president's presentation of his documents are in place and everything is right. We have done, at least I'm sure, everything is in order now. And of course, as he has been doing too, he has advised his followers, his supporters, that peace is his number one priority, and he has to lead as an example, because as the president of the republic, everyone look up to him and his people. So we promise that yes, we have advised our people enough that respect and abiding by the rules of the country would be our number one priority. And I guess you mentioned about agriculture and education. I'm sure we have all seen the unprecedented amount of development in the area of our education. We have all witnessed for 53 years in this country, Gambia has lived with only one college. President Adama Barrow in 5 years has given us a second college. I lead the 19th executive of the current university executive for the first time to meet the president of the republic. In my presence, they said 75% of them going to school today are all on scholarship. And nonetheless, you talk about the infrastructural development changes in our schools, in the area of building facilities for teachers that probably don't want to go to the countryside because of the conditions out there. He has built accommodations for them. He has also upgraded schools from lower basic to senior secondary to upper basic schools. He has done a lot, and the university also, he is doing everything he could to make sure it's completed so that the students can hold their programs at one venue. And you will remember in a month or so time, he presented buses to the university students as well as to our nurses. And in fact, asked the nursing school in Basang to increase their nursing students by 100%, because you understand the fact that most of our nursing graduates move to other countries for something else. But he's promising that he's going to build up that.
All right, Mr. Sane, we will definitely come back to you. The president will be here shortly. He'll present his nomination papers to the IEC chairman. He'll have an interface with the press, but hopefully we'll have you back on the panel to talk about what the president would have to tell the public as far as his nomination or presentation of credentials is concerned. And that's the organizing secretary of the National People Party, Mr. Fabu Sane, talking to us there ahead of the arrival of the President, His Excellency Adama Barrow. A lot of movement out there. And then a lot of traffic. The president is set to arrive any moment from now. It's 10:59, already approaching 11 o'clock, and that's the time the president is set to arrive here. As you can see on your screens, there is a lot of traffic out there, a lot of people, party supporters, party loyalists of the National People's Party. But like I had earlier said as well, the president's party, that's the NPP, is backed by a couple of parties. We have GPDP, we have APRC. Recently, we've seen them forming alliance with the APRC. We also have the NRP. We had the leader of GAP just yesterday switch allegiance to the NPP party. Another political party also switched allegiances last night. That was over the news. And then GPDP as well is on board, and they are all supporting the National People's Party. Well, we will be receiving the president any moment from now. The IEC chairman, alongside senior officials of the Independent Electoral Commission, are all seated at this juncture, waiting on the arrival of the president, His Excellency Adama Barrow. And then I will shift my attention to my colleague Tijan Jane momentarily, because we'll be translating what is unfolding here to our beautiful Mandinka wall of listeners, as well as Sadahule and Jola audience out there, for them to also have a sense of what is really happening there. And so Tijan is set to bring our audience out there, the Mandinka and all of audience, up to date as of what is happening here. Tijan, comme niñ ko waxee rek njiiti réew mi the njiiti NPP party bi the His Excellency President Adama Barrow moo nar a teew fii tey joxe li nga xamante ne mooy nomination papers am ci IEC chairman bi nga xamante ne naataango mi ñu ànd ak moom ci tent bi foofu noonu. fi mu nekk nii ñu ngi xaar président, gis nañ vice président mi ngi àgg sànq noonu rek te ñu ngi nii am ay kàddu yuñ wécci wante ak Mr Fabu Sane moom mi nga xamante ne mooy organizing committee bu NPP. loo am pour wax suñu mbokk yi as to li ngeen nekk di xew fii jamono yi Tijaan.
jërëjëf Fatmata Cissé, mbokk yi ñu fàttali rek yéen ak ñoo topp fi nga xam ne mooy ci maakaani IEC ndax tey gis nga xam ne moom mooy Essa Mbye Fall ñëw na jébal ay kayitam pour nomination. ki ci topp léegi nag moom mooy His Excellency President Adama Barrow mi nga xamante ne nag moom moo jiite parti bi di National People's Party NPP. fi mu nekk nii nag moom jiiti réew mi moom la ñuy xaarandi nga xamante ne nag mu ngi ànd nag ak ay supportam te gis ngeen ko si seen télévision screen si ambiance bi nga xam ne moom la àndal ak junne nit ñoo xamante ne ñoo ko dar comme ni ko Fatmata waxee vice président moom High Excellency Dr Aïssatou Touré moom yegsi na ak ñenn ci ak kàngaami ak jëwrin yi ñoom jël nañ seen toogu fi nga xam ne nag mooy ci table IEC bi fi mu nekk nii bu njiiti réew bi yegsee tamit dina jaar rek fu yeneen presidential aspirants yi jaar mooy jébal li nga xam ne mooy ay kayiti sendem fi mu nekk nii foofu la ñu tollu fii ci IEC baningol min be jiartes jube kan drong hani saying nominations watch wolom nomination o mi yalon ko wole be kering IEC la sansamba kono jang Essa Mbye Fall atelo mo foloti mi ya singolo jang ala kaytol futandila ndung atena tata nyintembola minna wato sita wolom president His Excellency Adama Barrow atemi mu NPP la nyaton koti kalyaje alla television screenol to nyaming ali hadama dingol jele NPP supportal mini alonko bi itolle nata ka president Adama Barrow ka dandan nang IEC nyinkamala isa nominate no bawo nyimu wajibo leti ni lafte da dundila December tilinani carte fayo kono foyena ye nominate ate president Adama Barrow alnyabo lateng abe wo silole kannan bawo mol siatale dulanyin deteta atinna la moto man tariano wo nyama butung nata futata nan drong a fanam be dunna IEC kan ala CDR kaytol fintindi ay wol di Fatmata abuko dong mi tembota mbo wolto barbutun bawo hadama dingol siata abe kole alla le pour president wala motoket ning ay tariano bawo molmini ya adar i siata le andung a tina fon dula fon nata ka dete fente fo hadama dingol la sia bari nga jiki ko tanko la bundal aning parti la organisal ibe fere beke la le silo walang ate president Adama Barrow nyinkamala ase futano IEC la sansango nyinkono.
Baraka Bake Tijan will be caring, our beautiful listeners and audience out there, viewers. This is exactly what is happening at the IEC election house here and then outside the premises of the election house. Huge crowds there accompanying the president. The president is yet to make entrance into the election house building, but then we can see his motorcade. We can see the president himself waving at the crowd that is accompanying him to the Independent Electoral Commission here. He was expected to be with us at 11 o'clock. It's past 11 already, but it's as a result of the huge crowd that is out there. The president is yet to be able to make his way in here, but hopefully any moment from now the president will be with us to present his nomination credentials to the chairman of the IEC, Ali Momar Njai. But now I'll hand over the mic to Yoro Jallo to tell our fuller listeners as to what is happening here. Yoro, Maube MPP no Ari, His Excellency President Adama Barrow.
Indeed, yes, your NPP, His Excellency Adama Barrow, boyata o yottima no mbiɗani rek o waktudoni ɗo IEC ɗo ɗo table IEC ɗo mawɓe MPP ɓe jottima ɗon ko way henno vice president cabinet minister ɓe second vice ɗum woni chairman mo NPP Dr. Sabali en he NPP entourage maɓɓe fof ɓe jooɗima joni ala ko ɓe pari tan ala ko faɗa tan so wona mawɗo leydi o His Excellency President Adama Barrow mo ganduɗa ko kam woni incumbent president o ko wonono goɗɗum ni an mo pari foɗodire kono ha joni konngol ngol doole e kala no mijoto aɗam rek koye junngo mum woni leydi ndi koye junngo mum woni argol mum ɗo wona ko foti famɗu mino andi famɗata ɓayra no jiiɗoɗon ni rek yimɓe ɓe ɗum woni télévision si mon ne no nanirton ni ambiance o ɓawoto e radio ji mon ne onon gandi dillere nde wona dillere cakan sano ardi leydi noon ano pari foɗodire ndin leydi ko hollugol ɓe poɗodirtaɓe wondema de onon pari poɗodire amde kono min noon dole ɗe ko juuɗe am goni e ko ɗum woni ko watta ko waktu ɗo ni NPP fadata yimɓe mumen ɓe keewi ɓe pontino beti noon ɓe ngari hollirgol kamen ne tan wondema jitki koolaye tan e ɗum woni ɓaawo e ɗum woni incumbent His Excellency President Adama Barrow ɗowtugol ɗum hannde ɗo han timmam ɗo IEC headquarters mumen ɗo Kanifing e kulle hollirgol kayri mum e ɗum woni CDA ji rek ma faale mum e hamme mum e kulle kontingol e ɗaɓɓugol tit ɗi duuɓi joyi garoji ɗi ɗum woni président yaji e ɗum woni leydi Gambia ndi no jiiɗo noon ni télévision simoni nani toon ni radio e ambiance mo jiiɗono His Excellency ɗi président Adama Barrow mbo sekka ɗum woni kafunaɓe NPP o jippima e moto mum e o waktu ɗo ni mbo ruyani galle e ɗum woni nder galle to ɗum woni IEC gay kulle o wawa kamɓe tawe wadde ko fotta ko waɗe ɗo IEC ɗo Fatmata that's the president Nuha.
emte kati yoro mankuregu eno tate National People's Party arungum onom His Excellency President Adama Barrow on bono jewu pour be nomination e tate di IEC President Barrow katonu lombo kanka jupo e kanu manje koku bodi karibe na ulo pour be kanu ganak Independent Electoral Commission pour man amon na bi nominate tate letu kana wonu sane kasangana kujupo somgondu fo FM follow jande His Excellency abetulana
ini bara alaji nuabaji mare marsa kya kati president bayga lakinga kengani His Excellency President of the Republic of the Gambia Adama Barrow awarini bilambe ni katnu chagundi Barrow gara hibi wari watni ido carton pakke be gari carton goga makano ora wadina raga makartonu tumime angar nanti hibe ganya nomination kaitnu mbane ora tu kaiti sunta kontono lenki bilambe gatri himno be ay megara pare mo be dabare adi patike kuluru ndoro ke nyarondi kengani nanya nyeti abudunga ada face max dondi patike kuloru nyana weke onakni fatmata.
All right, Haji Sumbundu, thank you so much. The President, His Excellency Adama Barrow, is in the building. He is in the IEC headquarters here with us this morning, and he is accompanied by a high-powered delegation. You can see cabinet ministers. I saw the Minister of Information and Communication Infrastructure, Ibrahim Asila. I also saw the Minister of Tourism, Ahmad N.K. Ba, who is the leader of the National Reconciliation Party, alongside other high-profile dignitaries who accompanied the President here this morning. That's the President on the screen. He is the leader of the National People's Party, President Adama Barrow, the incumbent, about to take his seat. You can see that huge crowd out there. That's the exact crowd that accompanied the President. And then all these days we've seen candidates coming all the way from the other end of the Battle Harding Highway, that's around the BSN, but we've seen the President coming all the way from the Joshua end, and that has to do with his entrance from the Banjul end, and that's the route, the proper route the President had to use. And then currently we can see of soldiers, immigration officials, a mix, a cross-section of the security officials there trying to prevent the crowd from encroaching, coming towards this end prior to the President's presentation of credentials. But I'm sure we will see this crowd pass that barricade as soon as the President completes the submission of his nomination papers, because that's what we've seen exactly transpire in the previous days. And that's not because people are not law-abiding, but because of the size of the crowd, and they exactly want to follow their presidential aspirants. But we've seen them do this in a peaceful manner and in a more coordinated and organized manner. And then thus far, that's what has been shaping this nomination process, and that's the peaceful nature it has been unfolding here at the Independent Electoral Commission for the past 5 days, and today is the 6th day, and then we're expecting nothing less than that. But like I said, the President of the Republic, the incumbent, and that's the leader of the NPP party, President Adama Barrow, is here with us at the Independent Electoral Commission, the election house here along the Battle Harding Highway. He's sitting right opposite the IEC chairman and these senior officials of the IEC, where they are set to receive his credentials as far as this presentation of nomination papers are concerned. We can see huge files there. We can see envelopes, brown envelopes there, and I'm sure they are all containing credentials coming from the NPP party as far as nomination of their candidate for the December 4th presidential elections is concerned. So this is currently what is happening here, and then we have seen an unprecedented presence of the media here. We also know the President has his own media team, and that, in addition to what obtains here on the ground, doubles the presence of the media here. And then we can hear the chairman of the IEC speaking now. Take a listen.
Now I would like to have your documents to be considered for nomination to contest in forthcoming midterm elections. Can you have the documents one after the other, please?
That's the IEC chairman. I'm currently looking at some documents that are before him. We are yet to hear the request, the respective documents as far as this process is concerned. But like I said, we've outlined or we've mentioned a couple of documents that have been the usual documents that are being asked by the electoral officials here. That will include the voter card of the aspiring candidate, the campaign schedule. They also ask for the academic qualifications of these aspiring candidates, not only the leader of the NPP party, but all other candidates who came here at the election house, aspiring candidates for that matter, brought along with them all those important documents. And then we've also seen them present their asset declaration documents as well before the IEC officials. And these are among all the documents that are expected of these aspiring candidates to be presented before the IEC officials. And then we can see the crowds on our screens, the motorcade of the president in between. And then moments ago, we saw the First Lady of the Republic of the Gambia, Her Excellency, Madam Adama Barrow, walking side by side with First Lady, Madam Sajo Mbalo Barrow, who all join us here at the election house to accompany the president, who is also their husband, to present his nomination credentials before the IEC chairman. And that is currently what is happening, and that's what's on your screens, the crowd. Yoro?
Just to add up to what you've just said, or allude to what you've said, we've seen the incumbent president, Adama Barrow, coming MPP one vehicle. Despite being the incumbent, but yet still he decided to use his party's vehicle instead of using the state vehicle. I think that these are is at play here.
Absolutely. I just noticed that that's the NPP one double signaling inside the election here, along the election house, along here, along the battle hiding highway. But one thing also I noticed, Euro, I saw the leader of the Alliance of Patriotic Orientation and Construction Party, APRC, Fabakary Tombong Jatta. He is also accompanied by his party executive. They came right after the First Lady and Lady Sajo Mbalo Barrow walked in. We saw them behind them, also making their way into the election house, accompanying their party leader. Like I said, they formed an alliance with the NPP. And then, but one thing that stands out this morning, as far as the presence of the APRC is concerned, and that they're wearing other outfits that's different from the usual one that will have the portrait of the former president. This is something that I have keenly observed, aside the presence of the NPP one that actually brought the incumbent, and that's the leader of the National People's Party, NPP. So this is exactly what is, and then the media team is on standby to have an interview with the president as soon as he completes the procedure here, and that's the submission of his nomination papers to the IEC chairman. Well, that's the desk, the submission desk there. The president and his team on the other side, whereas we have the IEC chairman and senior officials of the IEC on the other side set to receive the president's nomination document. And like we heard Mr. Sane also earlier said that the NPP as a party have gone or brings along all the necessary documents that are required for this process this morning here, and that is the presentation of nomination papers before the IEC officials. So we will know and then get to see what would unfold as far as this process is concerned. But for those who can't see what is actually happening here, those listening over the radio, it is a huge presence of the NPP supporters here at the around the premises of the IEC. They are just some 200 or 300 meters away from the election, awaiting the submission process of the of their party leader, President Adama Barrow, and then, like we assume, we expect them to also go together with their party leader to wherever they will be heading to later on, as far as this process is concerned. But we will also be speaking to some NPP officials. Till now, we have Mr. Sane with us on the platform, and then my colleagues Tijan Jane, Mr. Nuha Baji, and Haji Sumunu are here with us to bring our local audience up to date as what is happening here. At this juncture, as we await the president to formally submit his documents to the IEC chairman, I will hand over the mic to Tijan Jane to briefly tell our Mandinka and Wolof listeners, briefly, Tijan, as to what is happening here and then what you've seen thus far as this process is concerned. Tijan.
Ya baraka bake e Fatmata Cissé butumbadingol IEC jang wolom His Excellency President Adama Barrow afutatanane al nyabala alla television to nyame ala CDR kaitol ay wolle e futandi a tini IEC aning ala dokulal chairman be wo kaitoli bo wolle jube kan ka CDR foi mimbe nyininka nomination kaitol to for President Barrow nala NPP party mol wo futandi jele ngayin tembo minto ala nomonyol fanang Excellency the First Lady Fatmata Barrow aning Lady Sajo Mbalo wol fanam futata nanne apoko don sign Fatmata
consider for nomination contest the what is of course what is submitted subject to police briefing on Saturday. Thereafter, I'll let you know your status. Good luck and God bless, and thank you very much.
Huge presence of the media here this morning, as far as the president's submission of his credentials to the IEC chairman and his officials. And we will shift our attention to that part and then listen to what the president.
I can't hear you. We cannot hear you. You have to speak loud. Thank you. Anyhow, before going any further, I will sympathize with the families that lost their loved ones. One of our vehicles that was coming for nomination was involved in a fatal accident. We lost 5 of our members. And my condolences to the families on behalf of my family, and the entire government and the Gambian people, and the political family. Your question is what will be my priorities going forward. I have been in office for 5 years. I have one main priority for this country. That is development. Development, basically if you say development is everything. But I have a slogan: no infrastructure, no development. I will continue with my infrastructural development. That you have to fulfill. And I have already declared with the IEC that is now left to the IEC.
Next question, please. Next question. Next question, please.
It is left to the IEC. You know, we play by rules and regulations.
So what is your commitment to the
APRC is a party. APRC is not excuse me, APRC is a party. We are in alliance with APRC based on principles. The principles is they are a registered party, they are legally operating in this country, and we are also a party, that's why we align with the APRC. And it's in the best interest of this country. It's in the best interest of national security. It's in the best interest of reconciliation. I am a Democrat. Listen, you have to wait for me to give you an answer. Listen. I am a Democrat. I am a Democrat. Listen, my friend. I am a Democrat, and I believe in the principles of democracy and rule of law. It is the Gambian people who will make the decision. It's not me. If the Gambian people, whatever they decide, I will respect that.
One more question. One more question. No. Hey. Yeah, go ahead.
Don't answer.
Can you please? Not you. Yeah, let it. No, let it. Go ahead.
No, really.
Very soon I will receive the report. But as far as I am concerned, I haven't received the report yet. We will receive the report. My government will sit over it. It will not be my personal decision. It will be the decision of my government. Now, I will seize this opportunity. There is a piece of advice that I want to make. The piece of advice is directed to the IEC. If anybody is a member of the IEC, automatically you are the referee. And if you are the referee, you must be independent. If you are independent, it makes the job easy for you. If you are independent, it makes the job easy for the players. If you are independent, it makes it very easy for all the parties to accept the final results, the final decision of the Gambian people. Thank you.
That's the all right, the President, His Excellency Adama Barrow, and that's the incumbent and the leader of the National People's Party, just wrapped up his interview with journalists there. Like I said, it's a huge presence of journalists here at the election house, and then the President currently is trying to make his way to board the NPP1 alongside his party officials, his party executive. The President is they're trying to make way for the President now to board his vehicle, and that's what you can see on your screens. As far as this process is concerned, we will come back to what the President had said concerning some of the questions that have been posed to him by the journalist. But that's the President shaking hand with party officials, party loyalists, and then he's about to board the NPP1. That's the vehicle we have been talking about, that the President didn't come with PR1, that's President of the Republic 1. He came with NPP1, and then that's the vehicle he's just boarded, as you can see on your screens, with the security there having a word with him before he makes a move out of the election house. This is exactly the situation here this morning. That's the President, the incumbent, the leader of the National People's Party, just done with submission of his credentials to the Chairman of the Independent Electoral Commission, IEC, and then we've not heard the IEC chairman ask the President to come back with some other documents some other day. We'll get to find out that from our correspondent who has been with the President, and in fact he is our presidential affairs correspondent, Mamadou Jallo. Like I said, the President has been discussing with the media But then our presidential affairs correspondent accompanied the president to the IEC building. He was there keenly listening to some of the questions that the media had for the president. And then he is set now to bring us up to date as what the president has been saying. Good morning, Mojalo. Welcome to the panel.
Good morning, Fat. Thank you so much for having me on this panel.
All right, the president had an interface with journalists. Bring us up to date what he told the media. What were some of the questions they posed to him?
Well, the president was answering some of the questions from journalists, including myself. I asked him about his chances of a victory, and the president seems to be very upbeat, and he's very confident about chances of victory for his party. And he was asked several other questions concerning about the TRRC, his alliance with the APRC. The president defended this action. He said that this alliance with the APRC was done in the best interest of national security and national stability. He said that there are no ulterior motives, that APRC is a registered political party, and as such, they have every right to join any political movement or alliance that they so wish. So, and concerning the TRRC, the president said he has not yet received the TRRC report, so it was very premature right now to speculate on whether he will indeed accept or enforce some of the recommendations of the TRRC. As far as he was concerned, the report is yet to reach his desk, and once it does so, then he will act on it. He also spoke about the IEC, that the IEC is a referee. This brings us back to a familiar theme during the 2016 nomination. These were some of the same words that the president said, that the IEC as a referee must ensure a level playing field for all the candidates concerned. So he repeated that mantra today also, saying that the expectation is that the IEC should be a referee and should play the game very freely and fairly to allow all candidates to ensure that the process is very free, fair, and transparent.
All right, Mo, we will come back to what the president had said about what is top on his agenda when he's elected back into office in this December 4th presidential election. But he has also talked about his interest to unite the country and bring everybody together. Bring us up to date. You've been with the president all along. What has been his mantra as far as his call for people to vote him back into office is concerned?
Yes, this has been one of his defining moments for the president, and unity is a key priority of the president. And generally, his supporters see him as a unifier, as that stable candidate who is able to unify a divided country. We have seen he came at a very, very critical point in the country's political history when the country was divided. It was on the verge of chaos or instability. But the president was able to unify the country, bring everybody together, and ensure that we move together as a country. And this, according to him, he intends to continue on in the next 5 years. And according to him, as far as he was concerned, his main priority is development. Development is his main priority. And he said there cannot be any development, any peace and that infrastructural development. So he's putting a lot of emphasis on infrastructural development as the basis for his government's priorities in the future. And the president came at a very, very interesting time. He's a Democrat. Promoting the idea of democracy and tolerance. When he came, his motorcade was almost stopped at the security corridor. He had to get down and walk, and his security had a very tough time trying to push and pull with the security services. But this is the spirit of democracy that the president has been championing, and now he has put his papers forward. He's hoping that the IEC will go through these papers and then nominate it, and then we'll move on to the next
Absolutely,
stage.
And that will be the final question. Just hold on there, Mo. The crowd there is a huge one accompanying the president back. The president is just making his move out of the election house. He's waving to his party supporters. Like I said, this is exactly what I said earlier. The party supporters have broken the barricade. They're here chanting, waving to the president, and that's the incumbent, the leader of the NPP party, as he makes his move out there. We will do this quickly, finally. We've seen the IEC chairman ask all the candidates to submit back all the documents that are missing. Is that the case this morning? Is the president asked to come back with all the documents as far as this nomination procedure is concerned?
Yes, the president is expected to he has submitted all the necessary papers. All the required papers have been submitted by the president's party and his officials. And the IC has gone through and has also, verified that all the required papers have been submitted. So for the president, it is a done deal because he has met all the requirements as far as it is concerned. So now it is left to the IEC to go through to see whether, those criteria have been met. But as far as the NPP and the president is concerned, everything that has been asked for is now in order. All his documents are in order. And as you've seen, he's now got into his car now going on the next stage of the nomination, that is having a mass political rally at the buffer zone, where the women of this country have organized this mega rally for the president. But as far as he's concerned, everything is in order, and now he's waiting to move on to the next stage.
All right, Mojalo, we leave it there. Thank you so much. That's our presidential affairs correspondent, Momodu Jallo, giving us live updates as the president completed submission of his documents. Massive crowd out there accompanying the president, the incumbent, and that's the leader of the National People's Party, His Excellency, the President Adama Barrow, on board NPP-1, and that's the vehicle that brought the president in here. Party loyalists, party supporters, chanting the president as he makes his move out here. Mr. Sane, what do you make of this?
Thank you very much, Madam Cisse. I must admit that I am very happy and excited that, as promised, as the organizing secretary of the party, I was able to, with my team, put everything together as required by IEC, that our papers are duly accepted, and now we are waiting for them to be vetted.
That's a joyous moment for you.
That's the joyous moment for me. That's the joyous moment for me.
Absolutely. All right. And then we had the president talked about, that's the earlier question I'd ask you, what we will be expecting the president to say as far as his development agenda for this country is concerned, and in fact, when he's re-elected as the president of the republic.
As the president rightly said, he's a development-oriented president. He has been doing some very, very important infrastructural developments across the country in the area of the communication, education, health, agriculture, and in sectors governance is concerned. So he will continue definitely doing that, because Gambia is a poor third world country where these amenities are really, really needs for the communities to move on. Things like providing electricity, providing roads and bridges, improving our health sector and education. So the next 5 years is another challenge, but we are ready for the task.
All right, Mr. Fabu, we appreciate your time on the panel here. And now I'll shift my attention to my colleague Tijan Jane. It's a massive crowd out there, a lot of noise, jubilation out there, people waving at the president, that's the incumbent and leader of the National People's Party, who is trying to make his way out of the IEC premises, out of the IEC building, but he's just around the premises trying to make headway to his final destination. Tijan, most other Tijan, melning President Nata, Achalom National People's Party la nyaton ko to miyalan ko yo wala tombong pour ka loye ñi December 4th presidential election yamune je jambi Tijan
Fatmata ngam min je jande aka ko yata kam hana madingo min happo drone nata president nan akana ala nomination ola ala sia mota happo fango folano bar Fatmata sa min famu kuoti wolon president apparetale ala sedar kaytol be dile sañ afintita IEC la sansango kono bara bukolo ko drong e sopotal imansilo diala no amantambino sankuol bebe lorine ibe donnae ibe bulo ko silae Fatmata ila organizing committee ye do ko kel
Tijan akumata fanam prunga fo mbaden jibir lale president o kabrani media diamuta aya dati min na folo mbeya lanko accident o NPP supportal yo wala kabri ka bonam bolon ko no binaka nyam molulu be bantale jama be jaralo nyine kala diamu dati wala bari fana anata fo moliye nakata president oti ninga tommon ko de kanda min dati akom mobe nyaaya jale bar na tommon da fana ako hani kabi anyabata tilin min na wolom banko pour ka yiri wande ka fango be yiri wande nya ni ko banko yiri wando way fango be le fudu Tijan
ha Fatmata min fo wolom to nyaati ay mi tandi dro wolom do ko min aya dati fo kabang abe tenten nale anu fanan banko la yiri wando kuol min bebe o kono ngamira president ka be parerine ka wolle timmandi anu fanan ngajele bi fonninkel min dron ya a dari ngamira fanan ala abe continuer la hanisa ala mansakunda kono ka fonninkel sembente yandi ka musol sembente yandi bawa mamme dron ay kodo keso do ay wole kere nyinkamala ka fonninkel ni musol makoy nyinkamala ise ibulo dunno julayal kono ani wol bi ngamira Gambia fonninkel ani musol ya president fana ya jo wolale ba wo mu ko di baleti mi nga landile andu ama landi politiko fana la silola akol ko don banku dingol ye fongo makoy banku dingol e dun julayato banku dingol la bankota ye tambi fanko la tamando nyaato ngamiro wo fana mu kulati mi yalo ka kuma
akumatele tigatan ci wolof
waaw Fatmata comme ni ma ko doon waxee rek président Barrow mi nga xam ne nag moom la ñu nominate ci parti NPP ñoom moom la ñu taxawal nominate ko ñëw na jaar na ci li nga xam ne nag loolu la ñëpp a jaar jébal na ay kayit ci serdeem pare na waaye laata mu génn parce que jamono jii nii génn na ba pare waaye laata mu génn am na ab waxtaan boo xam ne seexe na ko ak ñii di taskati xibaar yi bokk na ci tamit li nga xam ne moom la mbébét bu fekkee ne December 4 waa réew mi delloowaat nañu ko lenge yi ci wàllum yokkute ak fànn bu mu mun a doon loolu président gën na ko dëgëral te Fatmata tamit muy jaale ñi nga xamante ne ay supportam lañ NPP dañ doon ñëw fi nga xam ne nag mooy ci nomination bi yàlla dogal ñu am accident foog naa lu toll si 5 nit génn ci àddina moom jiiti réew mi jàlle na seeni mbokk jàlle na parti bi jàlle na réew mi jàlle na ko même sax ñoo xam ne ñëpp ñoo bokk ci lii di langue politique te loolu foog naa am solo Fatmata fi mu ne président génn na li fi teew ci jigéen ci ndaw mag góor dafa jéggi dayoo dafa tax ba président sax pour mu mun a génn dem jafe-jafe la
jafe na kañ Tidiane ñu bàyyi ko foofu xam naa ci kanam tuuti dinañ gën a yaatal waxtaan bi waaye ñu jox Yoro mic bi Yoro what we've seen here is remarkable. The president came with a massive crowd. After his nomination, he had an audience with journalists who have been asking several questions. But the president started his remarks by extending condolences to the bereaved families. We know since last night, this has been dominating the news that some NPP supporters all the way from Basse and then just around Kiang, they were involved in a fatal car accident that claimed the lives of 5 individuals, and some are hospitalized with life-threatening injuries. And the president extended condolences. But right after that, he also talked about what is top on his priority, his agenda as far as his election to office in December 4th is concerned. These were some of the questions posed to him by the journalists. And then he has been responding adequately. Bring our fuller listeners up to date as what the president has been saying and what has transpired here.
Indeed, Fatmata, thank you very much. I would definitely love to summarize what has been said in the various languages, as well as the president's interview with our colleagues and journalists immediately after the submissions of his credentials. Musibam hetorobe larobe GRTS o wakturoni onji ko fulbe bida ko dole ngamara gew Fatmata manam foyo kumo mwele bang eko Fulol ko nyari ko dole nga mata gew. Well, I'll leave that with you.
Okay.
You do
I'll further ask at the office.
Maybe Uncle Musa can help you on that. Famata, bring Banko Nyaton ko His Excellency incumbent President Adama Barrow Duntana. Bidung Maje Mananing PR1 wala President of Republic 1. Be aning NPP 1 and nata. Ku kilinde bijerek tijan kuminga ko nyamen drong. Democracy diata bakele democracy a fango nyaade ate fam akademu democrat wolte Adama president Barrow ya fo nyame bare bida pareta no excuse me famata almost
I was wondering your switch to Mandinka
gili o pari okir gol kadum sere yaji di kulle hamme mo me faale gol kulle dara gol president yaji di president Barrow nde o yewdi di windo be kibaru bebe o holliri mette mum yurum mendu mum yimbe be gandandabe ko supportabe NPP arannobe kulle nomination mum ko yara yimbe jowo kebi accident o hanki be mayi lawol wobe be gañi hen gañane mus be wiyo mbo hollira mette mum tan yurum mendu mum benguji be gandandabe bibbe mumen be ma musbe mumen be mayi hen be mumen be gandanda timamne wobe mumen be gañi hen be l'hôpital to be don nyawnde mbodo ben holla rek mbodo men yurum mo mbodo men yafno foko kulle mum wadi dum ko dum wadi ha wiyo don no idorto kulle hollira wonde made kambe laamu mum be bengu mum leydi Gambia ndi fof e kala membintoɗe kulle politique e kamɓe mbo inde mon mbo hen hollira rek mette mum heko waɗi ko so ɗon yawri e président nde yewtide windoɓe kibaruɓe ɓe holli ɗumen wondema de kam e président Barrow ko kam wonno président ndi leydi ha joni kam woni président ɗiɗi duuɓi joyi jawruɗi ɗi e holliri wondema titne e kam ko woni ko darde mum nde ha joni ko ɗon tan liggagol leydi ndi rek ɓamtare yaarude yeeso no heɓori tan e wiyo si Allah waɗi fampanama lewru décembre ndu balɗe mum 4 ligge ɗe fuɗɗiɗe ko kontinat ɗumen te Gambian naɓe jiyat koɓe meeɗa yi ko tawa e ɓamtare yaarude yeeso ndiɗo leydi e lamda timmamne ndawo si woodi e ɓiɓɓe Gambia si carte ɗe pampama ko hono o wiyo kam hunde hoore o hoolite kanko démocrate yo mo andi wondema o place ko ɓiɓɓe leydi ɓe gokkata ɗum neɗɗo si ɓe pampanimama kala ko iwi e konngol ma kala ko yimɓe ɓe mbi e tawi e gañiɗo e tan kala ko yimɓe ɓe mbi e no yimɓe ɓe mbirini o jaɓirat ɗum noon o nangira ɗum noon président Barrow lamdane alliance mum o ɗum woni kawral mum ngal kamen APRC hollori wondema de APRC de ko parti mo gandanɗa e ko ɓiɓɓe leydi jii ɗum e te kamɓe ko parti o ardi kawral mumen ngal e ɓen ko kulle ɓamtare tan e yaarude yeeso muñondirangol e yafondirgol nangodirgol tan e kulle tan yimɓe ne fof gonen hunde wotere kawren liggagol leydi ndi wiyo ko ɗum waɗi ha e o dakkori e ɗum e te ko ɗum noon woni ko e waɗi ko hawrirde APRC o lamda tit e konngol mum waɗi ɗo e président Barrow holliri wondema de e ɗum ɗon ko konngol o wajotono e IEC naɓe marɓe kulle e fampagol carte ngol o wi ɗumen wondema de sa halfinama halgol gonga ko gonga o wi ko ɗum mbatta ma ko gonga o wi ko ɗum ndewata wonono goɗɗum ni enen fof kala membitoɗe kulle politique ko loi ko loi mari ɗum ko loi ombi ɗum nden noon on loi ko wi ko ala oya ko loi o wi ko no waɗe e ɗum si waɗi jam tenkere yaarude yeeso e yimɓe fof gona hunde worde woni ko palaɗen ko te ko ɗum woni ko faala ko wiyo ɗum rewe o holliri IEC wondema de sa ardinama sa ardinama e sengo peewal holliri peewal daranoɗa peewal gonana peewal ko ɗum tan wawata wat jamme tenkere no heɓori fatmata.
All right, thank you so much, Yoro. Over now to you, Nuha.
MT kati Fatmata kamidi bu jolno bo hambe jata nomination e non ton tate di IEC President Adama Barrow nannen wayta wala na sensen IEC wayta wala waysino meti ne mamam bete jum mbakan après sangay mo fete Gambia bayra kila wan to mi on kone incumbent na sensen mbango na juk meti na jido webu kana kemo fete Gambia kam yaade ko lan kulebo man kulanga no beri e jonko tay pour mana na continue di simita stocké sa tumbe jowday nanen wayta la senu IEC wayta wa ban na bi man ko la ko sankende ke chicken ski barasi wana sankento mo woyno mi wallere nane akila na jawla jobe broka bima famu andum broka blam de kane pana continue nane e jay fukile burit nano tani wa wan manjo wotu be kane e jay fukile mo fam urakuti mo fam wo kane akila wo kila nata be ko continue de ka jollen brok bu kila ubu de ko lanko kengo di mukana meti odi APRC e kane li dokko wona rego mi utinte nane akila di APRC pora koli pour na fight mo ya andum pujuk meti APRC parti an manje po baristeo andum po ko baji burung ni man parti ala bajum burung ab eno di NPP man ko namo di kucila kam yadi ko ngolen ko getu mo famiti Gambe jali en la na lawtate di ko duwa bukana ko ala kan manje ko la ko pour le suke fatia si be bile babe nomination la emite de kan de ko baji astange di burung ab na duwa ko kila di mbayoli burom man kan bukan kon mange sinyun kon futok ko sinyun soli sirade to di asdanga kilawyu na duwa bukan ko kilabu ko etemite ngone won san mbi asini e ju di yomal kiyama arigana mange tumpay bukan kan mange ko non sitimba soli ete jamiti ngone asini di kamunya na continue di kasanken keti wono san mange woyno mi di mukana miti di wanosan manjum nampo di akila di demokrasi nane demokrasi yo akila yo non broka bola andum yo nafi ummi di mofmuti Gambia te akila popo namdu ko meti wanosan election e results e bi mi manosan eno awujat mo bara awujuti yat na namam be sen burung an manji o gagné mi andu po le baji kanyakor di kulan ko kengo inki di mukana mititi jaayit election yatu manje yonata be kanoka nak dare wana agarme IEC wayno mi mbi ku jogu meti wono san ko to mete kane di ku kamal legen di ku kandi han manji wajojo di burum bat be futul burum bat tiringe man uju ka meti no kana ko wote mo meti gambe wote manje pe nafa mo meti gambe ka suma di kayra di ku pajo di tenku ngay woto na gambe ngamen IEC fanfan man ku kanum di wono san ko to be kane di ku jon tak ku jikedi an di ku jikedi parti ken Fatmata Cissé wonu bajami ngamena pidisen haji sumbundu masen kusaragula haji sumbundu
amite kati nuha maremo haji sumuno
nuari siri Fatmata Cissé o wasede jamani nyumankinga kengani His Excellency President of the Republic of the Gambia Adama Barrow birambe agari ikaitu tunchi bari hibe gara soro nyaage mpaga akaitu tunchi den nogonde kaiti bane mamanke nomination card nu nyani ba aganjiri parti kulo Robertini ba aganjiri ni limo bene mo ba kutunchu gari mo be agari kundu nyai ima tirni nanti kaiti surti yerdo juman kota megen nagato hari bane mamanke angat nantara luandaro ari kaitu nuntunchi sasa kundu agari kaitu nuntunchi agaduta kembire IC chairman kengane Aliou Momodou Njie ara konada ngani nanti kaitu nunchuki nye kembire da receipt kinai na konada ngade nanti birambe migara kota sugandi kengane sibitin kota jaman kagi isimara hingurini isagaranden kama kembire ari tolongo journalist nga adi ikacha dome birambe journalist la tirindi angat nanti hihana be gara tirindi mani nana tampo hananga ati ken yurwa nyega kebe kama takandi haramparu aro kanada gay bari horande sabatini takandi haramparu mbinana gamanya ake president Barode agar uta konsefe kanu banganini ira tirindi birambe ado APRS kapenga ati do APRS kape ati kenna jamane ke khairin tenkui anatala sabatini ya ati do APRS kape patinya ni ikera ni pati duram pati ay kenno ido APRS kape kenni kape me na yuru wantango lunya tala wajibinde jamane kenogonde ake president Barode ari digamu birambe IEC kumeno ga gol nyanano atina ya soro atanga na refinga anga dunande sugulu timana kebe ga kota katano naga ma birnu naga atana nya sere tolongon dengari anna nya sere sugani gol nyalle manga inan tolongo ina golden de barti mo nga akebe wajibin tengani wari tongun kama ina kemba ngandi soro nangani imanya sere anga dunande kebe iganati anda ngani kati manno ke jigi kenni kayndi gore nyari kenno gondi hakatnda menjwa inan tolongo anga na tolongo be soro ngitai ina kendala an dumandi president Barrow lengari mo gonde amari hari moto be akademi ronadi ado moto kuruma mo gulenki moto ge halle jinya mbaka sapomake birambe NPP 1 nyani ado kenyalli mayran kunne ke akade har sa haramar me nyai dangini jamabe gara tunji afumu awranta konno nakinyi ikempanga kenno gono na garangati IEC anga nanti hibe ganya gemuni nempo gorenga ke akadi idangi IEC ga lakenga wakata dingira betana nanga nanti ganjiri na menyi khore lagandi kenno gonde kenya menyunga aro sefe kanu be no gari kitakara ngani nangirti IEC gol nyankake yi serembogu timo nga isugari mo mankay manya mankay be anga nanti aga so bari di sewe nyakoita na gemundi mo haram pare ibe so eternity nga kyakati moto nyime manyeme dangin harsa kenno gondo jikinga di candidate na warni yerro kembile garni jikinga di ku miga dangi nampare kenno gondo fatmata noir.
Thank you so much, Haji Sumudu. And that wraps up the second session of the filing in of nomination papers here at the IEC. And the President, His Excellency, the presidential aspirant of the National People's Party, just wrapped up that session. And we are expecting Mr. Matar Nyang to be here at 12:30. Mr. Nyang is an independent presidential aspirant, and then we're expecting him to be here at 12:30 to present his nomination documents to the IEC officials here. He will also be received by the chairman of the Independent Electoral Commission, Mr. Aliou Momodou Njie. But like we said, the incumbent, and that's the presidential aspirant of NPP, has finished submitting his documents before the IEC, and that's the nomination documents. And then his documents, just like others, will also be scrutinized by the public. The IEC will also have a thorough look, and then him, just like other candidates, they will be communicated to as to whether they've qualified to vie for the upcoming presidential elections slated for the 4th of December 2021. And then we also understand the nomination proper will start on Tuesday, and then that will be also followed keenly by GRTs. But at this juncture, we'll take a quick break. We are handing over back to our studio along MDI Road and at mile 7. We'll be back at 12:30 to bring you live coverage of the presentation of nomination papers by Mr. Matar Nyang, an independent presidential aspirant, in a moment. Bye from us.
Nomination Watch, coming to you live on GRTS from the 30th of October to the 5th of November. Join us